more things. And he is a man of patience, an ocean of knowledge. I don't know how to describe him. We are fortunate enough to have Professor Amritlal Ghosh as our resource person. He is the Dean of Jain School of Management Studies, and more than 2 decades he have spent in the education ambience. His expertise in finance and accounting. This is not enough. I mean, it's a non-ending introduction. 2 hours to introduce him is not enough. I request Poonam Das, the session introducer, to introduce him. Poonam Das, please.
Yes.
So before Poonam starts, let me tell Dr. Maiti, this is not actually fitted for me. You might have fitting something else here. Okay,
Sir,
Poonam, please.
Sir, you don't know your capacity. You are such a sweet person, such a down-to-earth and humble person I never seen in my life till date. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Maiti. So Poonam, please.
Okay. A very good afternoon and warm welcome to one and all present here. Wishing all the professors a belated Happy Teachers Day. As we have been celebrating Teachers Day throughout this week, so today I would like to take the opportunity to introduce an Indian scholar who has been considered as the greatest mathematician and astronomer of the classical age of India, Aryabhatta. Now, Aryabhatta is the first of the great astronomers of the classical age of India. He was born in 475 AD. Aryabhatta studied at the University of Nalanda. Aryabhatta was the first Indian mathematician and astronomer. One of his major works was Aryabhatiya, written in 499 AD. He had immense knowledge in the field of mathematics. Moreover, he did many discoveries during his era. He contributed much to the society. His works and theories are still remembered and honored till date. He was responsible for discovering various trigonometrical functions which are useful for us in the modern era. Furthermore, his discovery for the value of pi eased the complications in mathematics. Above all, he founded the place value system and zero, which are one of his major contributions in the history of mathematics. Aryabhatta was a great influence to many youngsters. Now, I would like to dedicate this session in the name of Aryabhatta, and also I would like to take the opportunity to introduce our resource person, Professor Amritlal Ghosh sir. Professor Amritlal Ghosh sir is the Dean of Jawaharlal Nehru School of Management Studies, Assam University, Silchar. He was also the head of the Department of Business Administration for more than 10 years. He has been the chairman, coordinator, convener, board member, committee member in different committees. Professor Amritlal Ghosh sir completed PhD in the area of finance. He was the university rank holder in BCom and MCom courses. Along with this, he has completed AICWA, ACMA, postgraduate diploma in international business operation, postgraduate diploma in production management, and LLB. His area of teaching and research is accounting, finance, and entrepreneurship. He has 5 years of industry experience and 25 years of teaching experience. He has also served as visiting faculty member in AIT Thailand. Professor Amritlal Ghosh sir has been the resource person of SISI, MSME, AICWA Silchar chapter, Patanjali, and other organizations. He has also been the chairman, keynote speaker in different seminars, workshops, symposium, open discussion forums, etc. He has also completed various minor and major research projects funded by UGC. He is an active member of different professional development bodies such as Indian Society for Technical Education, the Institute of Cost Accountant of India, Indian Accounting Association, Indian Commerce Association, AIMA Silchar chapter, NER Economic Association, NER Council of Social Science Research. Professor Amritlal Ghosh sir also empaneled as Honorary National Resource Person by the Quality Institute of India, New Delhi. Professor Amritlal Ghosh sir has published 3 books, 31 publications in referred journal, 16 articles, chapters published in books, 11 articles published in seminar proceedings, 15 papers presented in international seminars, 22 papers presented in national and other seminars. He has chaired 12 seminar, workshop, symposium, etc., and organized 14 seminar, workshop, awareness camps. So we are privileged to have Professor Amritlal Ghosh sir among us. Now it's over to you, sir, since sir will be discussing some important aspects of research with us. So over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Poonam. Thank you. I do not know where from you have collected all these things. You people are so expert. You are showing your research skill that you are collecting many things from many places. I do not know. It's wonderful. Okay. So all my teachers, acting teachers, and would-be teachers, those who are doing research today, they have a mind, back of their mind, they will be teachers. So to all of them, Poonam is telling it is a teachers week. We are celebrating one day, 5th September, Teachers Day, but now it is Teachers Week, nice. So it is good that even yesterday we have greeted, but today as well. Happy Teachers Day to all the teachers, would-be teachers, and the present teachers. See, today we are going to discuss a very important topic, right? In our research. Any research we undertake, sampling must be there. And sampling and the sample is so important in research. If any difficulties in selecting a proper sampling technique or a proper sample size, it will jeopardize our research studies, right? And here I will be telling you that whatever I have collected here, I tried to the best of my possibilities to make it as simple as possible so that we understand and we can apply it in our future life. That is the purpose. So here theory will be a little bit lesser and applications will be a little bit higher, so that in future life we can apply this and improve the quality of our research. So with this note, let me start my presentation. I think it is visible to all of you. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Fine.
Yes, sir.
Nice. So this is all. Today our mandate is to discuss sampling, scaling, measurement, and with this we'll be starting. Our mandate: sampling design, types of sampling, measurement, and scaling. Sample, we all know. Even then it is a kind of, we can say it is a kind of, revision. A sample is a representative of the population. That is the most important thing. Whatever we do, whatever methods we apply, whatever sample size we select, it must be representative of the population. This is the most important thing. If the characteristics of the sample approximate, it may not be 100%, but approximate to the characteristics of the population, then it is a good sample. This is the most important part. Sampling is the process of systematic selection of elements sample from a population under study, so that by studying the same, a researcher can fairly generalize the result about the population. We want to know something, we want to get some information about some population. If we cannot study entire population, if we cannot conduct census, we'll be definitely going for sample, but that sample should replicate, should give us some idea about the population. Here one thing will be, I want to make one thing clear to you over here. Whenever in course of discussion, if you find something to be asked or something to be clarified further, any one of you, please feel free I think there is raising hand option. Poonam, there is any raising hand option?
Yes, sir. There is an
Yes, sir.
option.
Acha.
Yes,
So
option, sir.
you are the session coordinator. So you just keep and watch if there is an hand raising, right? You just tell me, then we'll be discussing that point. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay, nice. Then again, sampling is the process of selecting a subset of people or social phenomenon. It is not that every time it is to be people, anything it could be there, to be studied from the larger universe. Subset means total universe is the set. There is a part we are taking subset. This is a kind of technical definition to which they belong. This is given by the sources here. Characteristic of good sampling or sample. The sample must be representative of the universe or the population. It should be unbiased. Sample size must be proper or adequate to produce reliable result. That is the most important thing. So here we get that whatever sample we select, it should be representative of the population. It should be unbiased. Often, as a researcher, we have some likings, dislikings, and the sample, when we are selecting, it get reflected, so it become biased. And the size also should be adequate so that we can get a reliable result. This is an example I have given you, see, to give you a clear idea. Universe. Suppose say you are doing study on the tribal population of Assam. So this is your universe, right? This universe is also theoretical population. The entire tribal population of Assam is our population, theoretical population, right? Out of these, it may not be feasible for us to study the entire Assam from north to south, east to west. So we have taken a target population. Out of this, we have taken a target population. So this much we will cover. Out of this target population, now we select our sample, depending on the methods we'll be studying. Out of this sample, whatever we have selected, it may not be feasible for us to collect data from all the sample, all the units of the sample, because there may be some non-respondent, there may be some other reason. So ultimately, this is our final sample. This is from where we collect our data. Okay, it is all right?
Sir,
Yes.
I have a question. So can you please tell us the difference between sample selected for data collection and final sample, and how we decide these both in our own research?
Okay. Very good, very nice, wonderful. May I know who is speaking?
Sir, Niharika Lalvani, I am doing my PhD
Achha,
in
nice,
human
nice.
resource.
Very
Yes,
good.
sir.
We were doing our research. Okay. See, whenever in your PG, whether you have collected any, for your project, have you collected any information, any data through questionnaire or anything?
Sir,
Lalvani?
yes, sir. Sir, actually, right now I've started my research, and I am at the urge of starting my questionnaire. So I've started researching what questions I'm going to put, what scale I'm going to take
Nice,
right
nice,
now.
nice. No, I am not
So,
asking your
sir,
PhD level. I am asking in PG level, whether you have done any project.
acha, in my PG level,
Yes, exactly.
not really related to research,
Achha,
sir.
all right.
Yes.
So most of the people nowadays having a project, right? See,
Yes.
whenever we have, suppose say from our target population, with the help of, we'll be discussing. We suppose say we have selected simple random sample, and we have calculated the sample size through sample calculator, right? And suppose say we got 385 our sample size. Okay. Now, if you approach to this 385, often you find many of the people are not traceable. You cannot trace them. Okay. So some people which you cannot trace them, they will be minus. Even if you trace some people will not give answer to your question, right? So from them also, you will not be in a position to collect the information. All right. So even though your sample size as per your sample calculator is 385, you might have calculated data from 340 only. That is your final sample from which you have collected your data. That is why it is written data. Clear now?
Yes, sir. So the papers and the data which is useful for our research is final data.
Obviously,
And
obviously,
okay. Okay, sir.
obviously. Because
Thank
all the sample, so each one of us might have our experience. Whenever we are going to collect the sample, right? There are
Yes, sir.
many problems. We may not be in a position to collect sample from our respondent, target respondent. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you for clearing out.
So after this, let us move on. This is preference for sampling. Why you go for sampling? There are certain advantages associated with sample study, right? Complete enumeration may not be possible. There are many occasions where it is not possible for us to have complete enumeration. That is, make a census study of entire population. Sampling saves time, labor, and money. It is sometimes beyond the control of the researcher to spend such a huge time, huge resources for making a census study. Sample study yields more precise results. Often it is found that if we are handling with huge data, then chances of mistakes are more. But sample, since it is a small size, so it can be precise. Administering sample is feasible. Concentration on a small group helps better accuracy. The degree of accessibility to the unit of the study increases. Obviously, if we take the entire population, it may be very difficult to access those respondents, but if it is a small size, it will be easier to get the target. The degree of error may be preset. We know that if we are using simple calculator, we set what will be our error in 5%, 10%, whatever, according to our requirement. Limitations. It is not that sampling has all advantages. There are some limitations as well. And the one limitations people argue that results from the sample is always estimated result. It cannot have accurate result. Or sometimes it may not have the accurate results. It may be nearby results. The researcher must have proper knowledge about sampling procedure. Most important thing here. Even our researcher, you see, many of our researcher, even while they are submitting their PhD, when Viva is there, they are telling it is a random sample. And when the experts are asking why it is a random sample justified, they do not know. They cannot explain. So see, to use this sampling technique, we have to have a good thorough knowledge about sampling procedure. Researcher must know how to select a proper sampling method. We will be discussing many methods, and we should know which method will be suitable for my study. Sample must be representative of population, but it is not easy to select a representative sample. This is a fact. Theoretically, ideally, we want the sample must be representative, but it is not so easy. Sampling error or bias spoils the result of the study. If there is any error or biasness, then obviously this sample study will not yield the desired result. Now some terminology regarding our sample study. Statistics, as we all know, statistics is nothing but the calculated figure out of sample. And parameters are the variables or the parameters or the features of the population. Say, for example, we want to collect mean, then if our population mean is 20 and our statistical mean is suppose say 19.5, then this 19.5 is statistics for us and 20 is parameter for us. Sampling frame, another area. Often when we are in research field, we often get confused. Sample frame. Even I have seen in some research methodology book, they have not clearly explained the sample frame. Sample frame may be the total set of population out of which we want to collect our sample. As we have shown you earlier, here. Here. We are selecting our sample out of the universe. So entire population is our sample frame. Out of this, we are taking a small frame, target population. Out of this, further, we are taking a sample size. This is our sample size. And out of this, ultimately, we are collecting data. Finally, we could get it. This is how the sample frame. Then sampling error. We must be very careful about these two terminology, sampling error and sampling biasness. The error which arises because of studying only a part of the total population is called sampling error. So we have to be very careful at the time of selecting the sample size. Larger the sample size, lower will be the error. And sampling bias, obviously it arises out of the researchers' own, feelings, likings, dislikings, prejudice, all these things. Sampling bias is a tendency to favor the selection of unit that have particular characteristics into the sample. If the researcher prefix that unit should be in the sample, then obviously the result may be jeopardized. Biasness may occur. So a small discussion question, you may have it, you may keep in writing also in future also. What is the relationship between sampling bias, sampling error, and sample size? For future discussion, you can keep it. Now one small example I have given over here. This is a small example, right? To explain you how this sample error comes and the biasness. Suppose our population is this 4 student or 4,000 student, A, B, PT, all these students. Their age 18, 20, 19, 23, and the mean 20. This is the census. If we go through census, we will get the mean. Suppose a 4,000 student, mean is 20, right? Now, out of this, we can have sample. If we want to take sample of 2, then we can have 6 variety of samples. You see, AB, AP, AT, BP, BT, PT. This is the probable 6 variety of samples we can have. Now, out of these samples, if we calculate the mean, we will get first sample 19, second sample 18.5, third sample 20.5, fourth sample 19.5, fifth sample 21.5, sixth sample 21. So mean of means, again, obviously it will be 20, but our result, our mean will be on sample 3 and 4 if we take plus minus 0.5 as our error, accepted error, then our result will be circulated around sample 3 and 4. But suppose the researcher is biased. The researcher want, no, T should be in my sample frame. If he accept T, then you see most of the cases, our result will be not representative, 21.5, 21. This is not within our plus minus 0.5 limit. So this is biasness. Okay, all right. Sample size, another very, very important thing, sample size. Sample size, how to select what will be the appropriate sample size. So some of the discussions, you see, size of sample depends on the nature of the population. If population is homogeneous, then sample size may be small. One example I have given, that a drop of blood replicates the result. What is the sugar level, right? What is the sodium present in blood? Everything, one drop sufficient, because entire blood in the body is homogeneous. If the population is homogeneous, you can have a small sample size and that can give you almost accurate result. Sample size depends on accuracy of the result expected. So how much we want our result should be correct, 99% correct, 99.999% correct, or 90% correct, 95% correct, depending on this. If we want higher accuracy, larger will be the sample size. If sample size is higher and higher, then we can expect higher and higher accuracy. The same thing you can test over here. Here you can fit, instead of 2 sample, 1 and 2, you can have 3 sample and you can test the result. You will find this is correct. If your sample size is higher, the result will be more and more nearer to the actual result. Factor in influencing sample size. Sample size depends on error limit determined by the researcher. Here in our example, we have set the error limit plus minus 0.5, right? If someone sets the error limit plus minus 0.1, depending on their study, obviously, then you see if plus minus 0.1, then this will also come. 19 will also come in our sample frame. 21 also will be giving the nearing result. Sample size also depends on the budget, manpower, and time available. This is a fact. Everyone wants that my result should be very correct, but whether I am capable of, whether the researcher having enough resources, enough time to administer. If it is not, then obviously according to the limit available, we have to select the sample size. Sample size determinator, right? In general, in a specific type of studies, sample size may be taken by referring to previous work, previous literatures, and in the same kind of study, what are the different way they are using the sample size. And popularly nowadays, almost every researcher uses sample size calculator, mathematical way, and this is freely available. Anyone can search and you can use the sample size calculator. It is freely available. Here I have given some websites, authentic website, because most of the people, even our researcher, collects the information from IT jungle. And in IT jungle, you know, a higher secondary student writes and the master degree, PG, we, the researcher, every one of us read. So there we have to be very cautious to collect. Here the sites I have given, if you collect, these are all authentic sites. ePathshala, Government of India, UGC site, right? National Digital Library, Government of India site. Then it is an university, wonderful university, one of the best university. It is his site. Wikipedia, they are giving the sample size determination. Sometimes you may have some reference also, no problem in it. NPTEL and Shyam. I will be very happy if our researcher join to some of their courses and it is get a certificate on research methodology. They have, and materials are, I will tell this is good material, but that material will work as a base material for you. You can improve upon. So these are the authentic sites. If you want, you can refer it back. Here, a classic example is given. It is given by Newman. He is telling that this is the way. If your population is up to 1,000, then your sample size would be about 300, means 30% of the population, right? We have confidence level, confidence limit, confidence interval, what are the population coverage, all these things. For moderately large number of population, if it is 10,000, then they are suggesting sample size should be 10% of the population. If it is exactly 10,000, then 1,000. For a large population, more than 1,50,000, they are telling 1% is sufficient to have a sample. 1,500 is your sample size. If still further, if the population is large enough, more than 10 million crores and above, then they are suggesting the population percentage should be 0.025% in sample. So 2,500 and according to the proportion of population, right? There are some other way, some other experts, and I hope some of our researchers, when they will do research, they will also be in a position to come out with something. I've seen somewhere they are telling that 10% of the population is also all right. But here the way the Newman given, I find this is a little bit acceptable, because larger and larger the population. The other day, one of my scholars is also doing the study, and they have fitted in sample calculator and infinite population giving the same result. But look, infinite population, maybe in our country, you would see 1 crore population, 10 crore population for certain things. Suppose say you want the prospectus buyers of say Maruti car, infinite. So if 10 crores population you feed, 1 crore population you feed, infinite, same result. So sometimes it not scientific, we found. So here I think, okay, larger the population, larger is your sample size as well. I think it is more or less acceptable. Otherwise, if there is no other say justification for us. Can there be any study without sampling? Sample size, some sampling we are discussing. Okay, there are many studies which can be on census. One example is here, that if we want to study the preference of stream by the students, and if our population is the toppers of the last 5 years, then here we may go for sample, or if the limit is accepted, I mean to say within our capacity, then we can go for census as well, if the toppers are not too high, a few thousands. Sorry. Now let us proceed to the different types of sampling. All of us, we know, those who has done in our PG course, their research methodology. So 2 types of sampling, probability sampling and non-probability sampling. The major difference is this: in probability sampling, each and every unit of the population must get equal chance to be selected in the sample. And in non-probability sampling, this is not happening. Non-probability sampling, each and every unit doesn't get the chance to be selected in the sample. This is the basic difference. Different types of probability sampling. Simple random sampling. Simple random sampling. See, in simple random sampling, what we do? We collect the population, and after collecting the population, we select the sample size, maybe the size out of sample calculator or our past reference of the studies or any other way, sample size we have collected. And how we'll select the sample size? There are two accepted methods. One is lottery method, another one is random number table. We can use random number table, right? And in your research methodology book, if it is a good book, most of the research methodology book, in the back side, there is a random number table. These are the way. Suppose say out of 1000 population, we have to select 300 population. Our example earlier, we have seen that 1000 about 300 population, 300 sample. Now how we'll select? If we want to do it in lottery method, we'll put this 1000, 1, 2, 3 serially numbered, put in a box or jar, and out of this we will collect one by one till it is 300. Of course, there are some other techniques. Some people are following with replacement, without replacement, right? So most of the case we select without replacement. With replacement, sometimes it may be, but it is difficult. There may be chances of duplicacy. So this is simple random sampling. It is very simple, but random. But remember, though it is simple, it is very difficult to use. Very few researcher uses it. Then comes stratified random sampling. Yes, if our data is not homogeneous, there are some features when simple random sampling, data should be fully homogeneous. If data is not fully homogeneous, then what we will do? We will divide the data in different strata. And from each strata, we will follow again the simple random sampling technique. Of course, proportionately. If our sample is, say, 300, we have 3 strata. Then 1 strata, if the population is higher, 500, then out of this, we'll select 150. Another strata, if it is 300, then we will select 90. Another stratum, if it is having 200, then we will collect 60. So out of this, 90 plus 60 plus 150, 300. That is proportionate. But ultimate final selection will be on the basis of random sampling technique after stratification. Cluster sampling, obviously, another way of using the random sampling method, probability sampling method is this. Entire population we can divide in different cluster depending on their characteristics, uniform cluster. And the difference is this in between these two is this. In cluster sampling, what we do? Instead of selecting all the cluster, we select only one cluster. From that cluster, again, we use this random sampling technique. Then comes systematic sampling. In systematic sampling, what we do, you see, we divide the entire population by the sample size. If our entire population is 1000, our sample size is 300. So we divide it, we get a number. What is that number? 3.33, right? So we can make it, we can round off, or we can limit our sample size 250. So we may get a number 4. So what do we do? Every fourth element of the population, fourth item of the population, we are selecting. This is called systematic sampling. And every fourth, no biasness, no choice, only the system we are following, that every fourth is getting a chance. There is some limitations that in between these, suppose say you are first item you are selecting 1, the next item, the fourth one will be fifth one, right? In between this, you see number 2, number 3, number 4 is not getting a chance to be selected. Still then, the experts are saying this is also a probability sampling. Then multi-stage sampling is very popular. Most of us, we are using multi-stage sampling. That if you want to study, suppose say the urbanization trend of a state, then what you will do? First, you will select the district of the state, one state. Within the district, you will select the towns. Within the town, another stage, you will be selecting the words. And out of the words, you may select your sample. So this is multi-stage. Then area sampling, a little bit similar with cluster sampling. Here, you are dividing the entire population in different cluster. You are dividing the entire population in different area. That is the only difference, nothing else. Now we are going to discuss the non-probability sampling. Non-probability sampling, remember, using probability sampling is the best, but it may not be feasible for all kind of research, or it may not be feasible for all the researcher. So obviously we have to go for non-probability sampling. But at the time of using non-probability sampling, the researcher must be very much careful about the two most important features. That is, sample must be representative, reflect the character of the population, and it must be unbiased. There is a huge danger in non-probability sampling that sometimes it becomes biased. And also we use wrong methodology also. Example, I can give you example. Say some of our students, when they are doing the study, at the time of their report preparation, when it was asked to them, what sample technique you have followed? So random. How you have collected random? I went to visit Vishal Megamart or a mall. I standed there for one. Who is speaking? Anyone? Anything? Okay, all right. So see, they waited in the mall for 1 hour. They collected the sample and see, they're telling it is random, but actually it is not random. It is convenience. And convenience, the name given is, accidental. Will be just reading. Non-probability sampling is generally used when the population is not fully known or the characteristics of the population is also not homogeneous, it is heterogeneous. Non-probability sampling can also be used when the population is known and the character of the population is identical, that is homogeneous. Example is given. If the researcher wants to study the faith, opinion of tribal women of Assam about child marriage, the researcher may use the list available with the Tribal Affairs Ministry, so the population is known. Since their behavior is expected to be identical, the researcher may use convenience sampling. Here, random sampling may be very difficult because it will be so difficult to access the respondent. And here, since behavior is identical, so convenience also may be used. So up to this, anything to be asked? Anyone, please?
So,
Yes.
I have a query. So,
Yes.
what is the best way to select your sampling? Like we have discussed so many types of sampling under probability and non-probability sampling.
Okay.
So, considering my own research or respective research, so how we decide that this is the best sampling method to use for my research?
Very good. Who is speaking?
Sir Niharika Lalwani.
Okay, no problem. No problem. Niharika,
Yes, sir.
let me tell you one thing. Let us proceed a little further, right? Then it will be easier for you to understand. Or since you are telling something, I can tell you, see, if you are doing a study on your college, right?
Yes, sir.
To find out the behavior of the student about game period, right?
Okay, sir.
Game period was not there, now it is introduced. What is the feelings, what is the opinion of the students, right? Here, this is your study, say for example.
Okay,
So
sir.
here your students are known to you, number is known,
Yes,
clear?
sir.
And you also know the behavior of the students are also a kind of identical, homogeneous.
Yes, sir.
So
It's
here you can safely use probability sampling, and that too simple random sampling. Clear?
okay.
Here, if someone uses convenience or something, then it will be a little bit, matter of question. Then when we can use, we have discussed in our later part that whatever we do, a researcher must try to use, if feasible, the probability sampling, because probability sampling has the greatest characteristics. It reduces the biasness and
Yes, sir.
it reduces the error limit, because error
Errors.
limit is prefixed. We can set our own error limit, 5%, okay, 1%, isn't it? Because of
Correct,
these
sir.
two characteristics, any researcher must try to the best of the capability to use probability sampling. If not possible, there are certain cases where probability sampling cannot be used. Say, for example, I am giving you an example. Suppose you are doing a study on the effectiveness of cancer medicine, right? So you want to study whether this particular cancer medicine is effective or not. Clear? Now, if you go for random sampling, it will be disastrous. So are you getting me?
Yes, sir. I think I'll get my answer maybe in the end, because I just wanted to know what is the best sampling method for my research.
No, your research. Okay, then you can tell me what is your research.
So my research is on gender diversity, and the research area is private universities in Rajasthan. So I just wanted to know that what sampling would be best for my research.
I didn't get your question clearly. I find that private university of Rajasthan. Then what you are going to study?
So I'm going to study the effectiveness of gender diversity on workplace happiness.
Gender effectiveness on gender
No,
diversity.
sir. So the effect, I repeat, the effectiveness of gender diversity on workplace happiness in private universities of Rajasthan.
On workplace
Happiness, workplace
happiness, workplace happiness.
Yes.
Private
Sir.
University of Rajasthan.
Yes, sir.
So, okay, it will be better if we go on this. We have discussed this, how to select, right?
Yes, sir.
Just you continue.
Sir, I have a question. Can you put up the question,
Yes,
sir?
yes. Sure. May I know who is speaking?
Sir, this is Dr. Shanti from Kamadino Arts and Science College,
Right.
Satyamangalam, Tamil Nadu, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, actually, many times when we do marketing or HR projects, thesis, that time, many times it happens to use either systematic sampling or stratified sampling.
Okay.
So which one is the best one, sir?
I'll be telling you, see, in marketing research, often we use non-probability sampling. And both of the example you are giving, both are probability sampling, right? In marketing research, often we use non-probability sampling. Why? Because there is some constant. What is the constant? First constant. If we want to know our prospective customer, not known to us, infinite, isn't it?
But
So
sir, in case of HRM, we use because we know the total number of employees and all.
HRM we can use. HRM probability sampling is used. It is a fact. But marketing, you are telling marketing, no? In marketing,
marketing
most,
in HRM.
Marketing HRMC. HRM, the people are known. Behavior of the people are known, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In marketing, often, suppose I want to know the behavior of the customer about retail mall, right? So there the customers are unlimited. How I will go for probability sampling? So there the experts are suggesting always we are going for non-probability sampling. Now the question comes, out of non-probability sampling, which method will be the most appropriate, right? So now we are having a discussion on it. Just so let us continue. I think your answer will be clarified from our all this discussion. So there are different types of non-probability sampling. But before going for non-probability sampling type, a researcher must be very clear. So the madam from Rajasthan, you see, you should have a proper knowledge about all these things. This is the thing. You should know what are the total number of private universities in Rajasthan, what are the total women population working in Rajasthan, study area, sample size, everything. Then only it will be appropriate to select a particular method. Okay.
Okay, sir. Got it. Thank you.
So let us see. Let us proceed on.
So,
Yes.
So,
who is speaking? Yes.
It's me, Sukanya Bhattacharya.
Yes.
Sir,
Sukanya, please.
Sir, when we are doing our work with secondary type of data, so
Right.
is there any role of sampling in that case, or how can we apply the sampling techniques in case of the secondary data?
Okay, see, for any data, secondary or primary, right? There may be two types of study. One is census, another is sampling. Clear?
Yes, sir.
If even in secondary data, suppose you are analyzing the financial statement of companies. So there are few lakhs of companies. Can you analyze all the companies?
No, sir.
Not possible. So sampling is the only other option.
Okay,
Clear?
sir. Yes.
So sampling is not dependent on the source of data. Please, this should be very clear to us.
Okay, sir. So in that case, only random sampling will be our choice because we will randomly choose.
No, I have not told you this much. Now,
okay.
Now we understand that there we cannot go for census, sampling will be there. Now we have to come down. What will be the appropriate method? What will be the appropriate size? Then we have to decide step by step. Clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. Now, types of non-probability sampling. Most important type is your convenience sampling. And the name here I have given accidental sampling. Non-probability sampling, I've told here, I've given a name to it, wonderful name. It is in text, obviously text, accidental sampling. Why? Often a researcher argue, sir, this is our random sample. How random? I have waited in the street, whoever is coming, I have taken the interview. I am not biased. The respondents is not known to me. Many justifications are there. But remember, whenever I am standing in the street, whoever coming to me by chance, by accident, I am taking their opinion. How it can be random? Where is the important features that all the units of the population is getting equal chance to be selected? So it is convenience sampling, please. We should be very clear on it. These are convenience.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, I am Partho from MBA department.
Partho, please.
Yes, sir. Sir, I have a doubt regarding the
Yes.
convenience sampling. Sir,
Tell.
sir, is it convenience with respect to the researcher or with respect to the research?
Partho, I
Yes, sir.
suppose these are the things many often we have discussed in the class.
Yes, sir.
So again, still your doubt is persisting. What? Why for?
Sir, because sir, I had a doubt. Suppose if the convenience is in context to the researcher, then will it not raise a question regarding the validity of the data?
Oh, this is the limitation of convenience sampling, Partho. This is the most important limitation of convenience sampling. That is why earlier we have discussed the researcher has to be very, very careful that they are not biased. Clear?
Okay, sir. Sir,
and the sample they are collecting, they are representative. That is the
okay,
onus on the researcher itself when they are going for non-probability sampling. In probability sampling, these are not there. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay,
So last
nice.
one doubt, sir.
Yes,
Sir,
please.
suppose, sir, I had an example, sir, just to know under which it will fall. Suppose someone is doing a research on pineapple. And sir, we all know that the Lakhipur's pineapple are the best pineapple. So if someone wants to do the research on pineapple, then will it be a convenient sampling to do the research on Lakhipur as a sample area? Or if someone does the research considering the other areas, sir?
Acha, Partho, suppose in the entire class now, only Partho is available. Say for example, can we tell Partho is the best student in the class? Possible? Possible?
Yes.
Huh? How it is possible?
No,
Only
no,
one
no.
person best. How it is possible? That is the mistake we do. If we are going to find the quality of the apple, this pineapple, and we are selecting the best one, then where from quality will judge? We have to compare. If we want to find out the best, better, good, we have to compare, isn't it? But
yes,
we can concentrate on Lakhipur also if our objective is something different. If our objective is to find out something different other than comparing with other variety, then we can concentrate on Lakhipur also. If our purpose of research is to find out the productivity of the best apple in Lakhipur area, then we can concentrate on Lakhipur itself. There is no problem in it. Clear?
Okay, sir.
Our population will depends on, at the beginning we have discussed, no, our population will depends on the objectives of our study and nature of our study. These two things we have to keep very often in our mind when we are going for selecting our population, our sample size, sample method, all these things. Two things very important: nature of the population, nature of the study, and my objectives of the study. If these two things are clear, then we can obviously go for it. Okay, Partho? Okay, all right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Okay. So convenience
Sir,
is all
there
right.
are some,
Yes.
sir, there are some questions in the chat box.
Chat box. Poonam, can you decode
Yes.
the chat box or should I?
No,
Okay,
no,
okay,
sir.
okay.
I'm decoding, sir.
Okay. I'm finding, no problem.
Okay, so Ronald sir is
But
asking.
these are not these are chatting only. These are not question. But while using secondary data, time period also matter. Yes, obviously matter. Why not? Time period also matter. If you can take 10 years time period, what's the problem in it? No problem in it. It's good, right? These are all chat. These are not questions. No questions are there in the chat box. Screen
Okay, sir.
it. Screen it. Not changed. No, it is changed, beta. ठीक है, fine, very good. Okay, we must have reaction. Reaction gives us a feeling that we are not sleeping. Otherwise, online class, most of the people are sleeping.
Sir, I also want to ask you a question. Sir.
Yes,
It's
please.
Fatima.
Please, Fatima.
Sir, suppose my population is infinite.
Okay.
Can I use convenience with random sampling?
See, as per the present text goes, whatever the expert has suggested, this convenience and probability sampling both are not going together.
Okay.
Clear?
Yes. Sir.
So far, the literature available. If Fatima can do a wonderful research and make another literature available, then sometimes we may refer that literature. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now, judgment. Another types of probability sampling is judgmental sampling or purposive sampling. This is sometimes there are certain research where we have no other option but to go for purposive sampling. No other option available to us. Example I have given that if a researcher want to test the efficacy of cancer medicine, they have no other option but to go for purposive sampling, right? Here I have given one example, and this example first will be shooted for you. The madam from Rajasthan, you are telling you want to do the study, working condition of women, workers in informal sector, and your sector will be the private universities of Rajasthan, isn't it?
So it's the effectiveness of gender diversity on workplace happiness.
Workplace
so the happiness of an employee. Yes.
Women employee, no? You study sample, your population is women employee?
Sir, gender diversity, it should be equal, 50-50.
Gender diversity. So you want to find the workplace happiness among the men flock as well as the women flock, isn't it?
Correct, sir.
So there, if all the population you are collecting, you are studying over all the population, right? And if the population is known to you, finite, then you can have a stratification, strata, right? Stratified random sampling with the best method for you. Your voice is not clear. I cannot hear you. Stratified random sampling will be nice for you.
Okay, sir. Okay.
All right. Then for your some discussion, difference between convenience sampling and purposive sampling. Already I have discussed this thing. Purposive sampling depending on certain purpose itself. We have to be very clear on it. Quota sampling, another wonderful methods, quota. And this quota sampling often used in a big country like India. The most example will be, the wonderful example will be, suppose say our cricket team is going to be selected and first trial, they want to select some player, right? So every state, they give some quota. Even if in other states, some wonderful players are available. Suppose they're giving quota, Assam, 2% will go from Assam and 10% will go from, say, Maharashtra, right? In Maharashtra, you can find that there are many players, very good players, But out of all the available players, they will be selecting 10. And in Assam, out of all the available players, they will be selecting the best 2. But it doesn't mean that the best 2 of Assam is always the best out of the other player waiting in the Maharashtra. There may be other best, but because of quota system, we have to fix the number. That is the thing in quota. The aim of quota sampling is to produce a sample that reflects the population in terms of the relative proportions. That is the most important thing of population in different categories. It may be socioeconomic category, it may be region, it may be, this is the region I have given the example state region, this may be the residence or any other factor may be there. Of course, in stratified random sampling, the randomness is there, but in quota sampling, randomness is not there. That is the only difference. That is why in quota sampling, it is non-probability sampling. Snowball technique, another very useful technique. Often there are certain research, there is no other method possible to be applied, only snowball techniques. In snowball techniques, what we do? In snowball sampling, the researcher collects data on the few numbers of the target population she can locate, then asks those individuals to provide the information needed to locate other members of the population when they happen to know them. Whom they know, they are giving some reference. Snowball refers to the process of accumulation as each located subject suggests other subject. Maybe this the reference is there. This expert, this resource person given this, that this is the snowball, and snowball often we are using. One of our researchers also right now using the snowball technique, because there is no other way out to locate the respondent. Only one or two or few known respondent can get the reference of other respondent, and this can be used. Now we are reaching to the middle or the end part of our discussion, scaling. Another very important thing for scaling, very, very important. Scaling is as important as selection of sampling method, sampling procedure, selection of sample size, selection of a appropriate sample method. This scaling is also important. Scaling is the arrangement of objects to numbers according to a rule. Some rule may be there, we will follow the rule. In scaling, the objectives are text statements, usually statements of attitude, opinion, or feelings. For instance, to know the color preference, the number 1 red we can give, 2 blue, 3 white, anything we can give. Most preferred to the least preferred. Generally, these are the arrangement in scaling. Measurement is the process of observing and recording the observations that are collected as a part of the research. Scaling and measurement goes hand in hand. To measure, to get the value of the data, you have to have an appropriate scale. You have to use appropriate scale. Again, measurement is the process of assessing appropriate level value to the information gathered or to be gathered, and the collection and recording of the same. Sometimes it happens after collecting the information, we put the number, value. Often you have seen that Likert scale. You can ask the respondent to give a tick. On the basis of the tick, you are putting the number 1, 2, 3, 4, -1, -2, whatever you put. Or sometimes you are giving the number itself and you are telling the person to tick. So either way it is possible. We can put the value after collecting the information, we can put the value before collecting information from the respondent itself. Possible, both are possible. Now I have given a little, because this 4, nominal, ordinal, interval, ratio, most often known to us. We might have been reading it from higher secondary onward. That is why I've given less discussion in it. It is known almost to every one of us. Nominal scale, it is simply showing a level that, okay, gender, male or female. There is nothing who is the higher, who is the lower, which one is the good, which one is bad, nothing else. My house in rural area or urban area, nominal, simple. Ordinal, in nominal, no order, nothing is there, but ordinal, some preference is there. Suppose say the researcher given the 4 car brand to the respondent and tell them to give the preference 1, 2, 3, 4. So some order is there, but it cannot be perfectly measured that this preference 1 is the best and preference 4 is the worst. Not like that. We can only find that the respondents prefer this brand the most. This much is possible. Now interval, a little bit, a better mathematical support is there in interval. The temperature. Today, 29 degree Celsius. A few days before it was 33 degree. So we can understand very well that 29 degree temperature is a little lower, 33 degree a little higher. This much is possible. But we cannot tell, we cannot find out that, okay, that a student got 30% and another student got 60%. The student getting 30% is half weaker than the 60%, or student getting 60% is double brilliant than the person getting 30%. Not possible. But we know that the person who is getting 60% a little bit brilliant, a little bit intelligent, more intelligent than that of the person getting 30%. This much is, that is why some order is there, some interval is there. Now comes to ratio scale. This is perfectly measurable scale. If one person is having 20 years of age, another person is having 40 years of age, we know the 40 years age is double to the 20 years age. Weight, if 1 kg weight and 2 kg weight, we know that 1 kg is half of the 2 kg. So perfectly measurable. And here most of the statistical tools, statistical measures we can use. Anything here? Nominal, ordinal, interval, anything to be asked by anyone? Yes? Nothing? Good. So these are known to every one of you, and it is a fact. From higher secondary onward we are reading it, so it is known to us. Very good. Rank order scale. Now this 4 scale, nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio scale, these are classical. Often we are using it. These are the scales when we are going to discuss. These are the scales which in our social science research and in our business management research we are using. Often we are using rank. Often we are giving the ranking. This is the scaling technique in which respondents are presented with several items simultaneously and asked to rank them in the order of priority. See here, the respondent might have been doing a study to find out the preference of different brand of car in a particular city. So in that city, they might have done some literature review. They have seen that these cars are sold. So they told that you rank which car is your most preferred car from 1 to 4. So this is the ranking. Constant sum scale. This is the scale. Often it is used to find out what will be the preference. Here, a constant sum is given. Suppose, for example, 100 points. The respondent are asked, these 100 points you give according to your own preference to the different attributes. Total is 100. Suppose the respondent is given 50 to the price, 10 to fragrance, packaging 10, quality 30. It indicates that here the respondents are more sensitive to the price than the businessman. When they're planning, they might decide that price should not be increased much. Price should be lower enough, even at the cost of quality a little, because quality is the second preference. Here the price is the topmost preference. Say another society, same study, if you go to another society, suppose say Bombay, then people may be giving more importance to the quality and packaging. Then price is given low preference. Then what will be the strategy for the company? That they have to give the best quality possible, even price increases no matter. That is how this constant sum scale helps the organization to plan for their own product activity. Q-sort scaling, another very important scales, especially used in publication houses. Now, suppose the researcher want to know the preferred journals of a particular city or a particular university. So what the researcher will do, they will take a bundle of journal, say for example 50 journals. Here we are telling 50 journals. 50 journals they will be telling, they're taking, and they are asking the respondent out of these 50 journals to select 10 journals, for example, the best, most preferred 10 journals, then preferred 10 journals, somehow preferred, or okay, all right, 10 journals, not much preferred 10 journals, and the least preferred 10 journals. Then out of this exercise, the researcher may come to know what are the most preferred journals and what are the least preferred journals, so that accordingly they can have the supply of that Q-sort. It is useful techniques it is using. Continuous rating scale, another scales. Often the researcher are not using, but it is used in the business houses to get the most important fillings out of it. Here what they do, in continuous rating scale, the respondents are rating the objects by placing a mark at the appropriate position on a continuous line. That is the continuous line. Strongly preferred, strongly agree, to strongly disagree. Continuous 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. Right? One extreme to the other end. For example, advertisement in TV is a guiding for buying. It is a guide. Advertisement, when we see the TV advertisement, it works as our guide for buying. Whether you agree on it, give your view. Strongly agree or strongly disagree. If someone feels, okay, yes, advertisement in TV is working as our guide, they can give, yes, I agree, strongly agree, or somewhere in between. Itemized random scales. Itemized. This is also used. Itemized random scale is having number and or brief description associated with each category that best describes the brand. company or product attribute being rated. Itemized random scales are widely used in marketing research. Now, some madam is telling marketing research. So these are the techniques we can use. How often do you visit the Vishal Megamart located in your city? Then person is giving never, rarely, sometimes I visit, often I visit, very often I visit, anything. And the researcher, after collecting this information, they can put the number. Never, suppose say 1, rarely 2, sometimes 3, often 4, very often 5, anything or any other way they want to. Another example given, unselfishness is good. Unselfishness is God, is not known to many of the leaders. So the respondent can give the tick, give your view, very true. Someone can feel, someone can say true, someone can say somewhat true, not very true, not at all true, according to the view of the respondent. Likert scale. Almost all of us are familiar with Likert scale, right? But I have seen many researchers, while they're using the Likert scale, they are not using it in an appropriate manner. That is why a little discussion, but Likert scale is the most commonly used scaling technique in our business research. So here what happens? Some statements are given, and generally these are all general 5-point scales are used. Generally, other scales also sometimes some people may use, but 5 points are most commonly used. So here, strongly agree, neutral point, disagree, strongly disagree. 2 examples I have given, just see. If the price of raw materials fall, firm should reduce the price of the product. If any respondent agree, then they will give yes, I strongly agree. If they disagree, they may take disagree or strongly disagree, anything. There should be uniform price throughout the country for same product. So same thing, agree, disagree, all these things may be there. Yes, up to this, any question please? Anything? Any question? Yes.
There are some questions.
Sir, this is again Shanti, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I have a doubt regarding the scaling, sir.
Oh, your voice is not coming properly. Okay. Net may be down. Okay, tell.
Sir, regarding scaling, sir, am I audible
Yes,
now,
yes.
sir?
Yes. Tell.
Okay, sir, like many a times I have heard from some of the researchers, sir, like if we take the age like 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, like that, then that scaling will be different. And if we take as like 20 to 30, 31 to 40, 41 to 50, in that case, it will vary, sir. Like it will not be nominal scaling. Is it true, sir?
Perhaps I will be telling you, please go through certain text. See, scaling is something different. What you are saying, responses may be different. Yes, definitely. Responses get different from different group. Okay. Say, for example, that is why we are doing the stratification, right? Maybe.
Sir, actually, I am in the context of that SPSS software where there are 3 scaling techniques, sir. We have ordinal, then ratio, and one scaling is also there, sir. I'm talking that nominal, ordinal, scale. 3 are there, sir.
Nominal is most commonly used, right?
Yes, sir.
But let me tell you, in business research, nominal is used almost least. This Likert is used the most.
Yes, sir. I do agree. In case of demographic variables, we will enter no, sir. If we are entering directly the age, like 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, then it should be considered as a nominal. They are saying like that, sir. Otherwise, if we take as like 20 to 30, 31 to 40, like that, if we take, then it should be ordinal, like that they are saying, sir.
Correct. It's very correct. It is very correct. I'll tell you how. When you are entering the age 20, 30, 40, right? What you are actually trying to indicate? you are trying to indicate a respondent, a particular respondent. Try to understand. Okay. But if you are entering a range 20 to 30, then what you are indicating? You are indicating a group of people. Clear? So there
Yes,
they
sir,
might
got
have.
it, got it.
That is the thing. There they might have made a analytical systematic thing that in this way they will analyze. Okay, nice. Very good. Any other question, please?
Sir, there is a question that shall we use hypothesis testing or non-probability sampling?
All right. Look, so far the literature available, so far, whatever literature available, the best literature in the world, nowhere I have seen that hypothesis testing is linked to it, probability sampling or non-probability sampling. Yes, we can say that if it is a probability sampling, then obviously the accuracy of the statistical data will be higher. This much we can say, right? But there is nowhere literature available that which is saying that for non-probability sampling, you cannot have hypothesis testing. For hypothesis testing, you have to have always the probability sampling. Nowhere this type of literature till date available. So this is for your information. Okay. All right.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Any other
Sir,
question, please?
yeah, sir, can
Or
we take one more question?
yes,
Like,
why not?
Okay,
Sure.
so there's one question that, sir, why we would use only mode in nominal scale?
Mode.
Yes, mode in nominal scale. There's a question from Imran Hussain.
Okay, all right. I do not know where from he got the impression. In our discussion, we have never said that in nominal scale, only you will go for mode or this and that. See, mode is a measurement technique. We have to be very clear on it. Mode is a measurement technique. In some research, if it is needed, mode is a kind of, I mean to say the average calculation, right? We can have mean, median, mode.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, very good evening. Who is speaking? Okay, all right. So Imran, your question is this. Let's see. Suppose you are going to measure the average. You can have mean, you can have median, you can have mode, right? Now see, in certain situations, your another class will be there, statistics, they will be discussing more. In certain situation, mean is not feasible. Median is also not workable. Only mode. Say for example, the classic example I can give you. You are measuring the depth of the river, right? Now in depth of the river, when you are measuring, you have to use only the mode. Why? If you take average, it will be so risky for you because there may be some place in the river, in the bottom of the river, which is more deep. So you have to find out the best one, the mode. Okay, so that is why depending on your research, if you want to use mode, you can use mode, median, or mean, whatever you want to use. But it is not that for that purpose only we'll use the median, no other purpose. It is not like that. Okay. Okay. Now let us proceed. We are sailing towards our end. Semantic differences scale, another scale. It is nowadays used in our business research. People are using. It is a bipolar. Bipolar means one extreme to another extreme. Bipolar, good and bad, true or false. 7-point scale. That is the point you see. 7-point scale. That have semantic meaning. The semantic differences scale is used for a variety of purposes. It can be used to find whether a respondent has a positive or negative attitude towards brand, product, company image, etc. This method is often used in developing new products, advertisement strategy, etc. It is helpful to know positive and negative impression. One example is given. What is your image about the company? put tick in appropriate places. Very bad. If your image is for the company is very bad, then you are putting -3. If it is very good, you are putting +3. Right? And in between, according to your impression, you can put. That is the semantic differential scale. These are the scales. Often it is coming and people are using. They are getting some result out of it. They're generating some result out of it. One thing I want to mention you here, that it is not that always it will be minus and plus and 0. It can be 1 to 7 also, no problem. It depends on as our Likert scale. You see, we can give 1 to 5, we can give 5 to 1, depending on as the researcher feed the scale. So this is almost, we are nearing to the end. There are some other scaling techniques.
Sir?
Yes, who is speaking?
Sir, this is again Shanti, sir.
Okay,
Sir, right
please.
now you were speaking about that Likert scale, sir. Sir, when
Yes.
I have gone through the research which has been done in foreign countries, there
Fine.
I found that most of the researchers, they are using this either 7-point or 9-point Likert scales.
Yes, I told you, no. This is 5-point scale mostly used in here. There are other points also, 7-point scale, right? 9-point scale. There.
Yes,
Even
sir.
there are, it is not always that it will be odd number. There are, I have seen some people are using only 4-point scale because they are telling that this neutral point is not to be given. This, they are there. It is a fact. It is there. 7-point scale people are using depending on their. If you are using 7-point scale, then it will be similar to your this semantic differential scale. Okay. Good.
Oh,
very
okay,
good.
Sir, okay.
Very good. That should be the class. That whatever any research person is saying, you should testify it. Then you accept it. Isn't it? It's very good. Wonderful. So there are some other scaling techniques highlighted by some authors in some text. In this discourse, the effort is put to discuss all the commonly used scaling techniques. However, the scholar may try other scaling techniques if they find the same is suitable for their research work. Any other scaling, there are Thurstone scale, people are telling, there are, comparative scale, non-comparative scale, there are. But if you find that those scales will be useful for your study, you can use it. No problem in it. Because in research, we should be always open-minded. It is not that this is the only thing we can generate. Because through research only, we add to our knowledge. Right? So this is all about our presentation. Now let me sum up. Summing up, we have discussed so far the sample and sampling. Sampling is the procedure of selecting a representative sample from the population. We have discussed it. A sample is a small subset of population which contains the characteristics of population. It is a representative of the entire population. We have discussed already. Now, if any one of you having any question on this sampling, sample selection, sample size, methods of sampling, you can please. Or we may proceed. Yes, who is speaking?
Good evening, sir. Sir,
Okay.
Dr. Nawaz Khan.
Okay, please.
Thank you for enlightening session, sir. Actually, for Likert scale,
yes,
we have been discussing around with our colleagues, and the discussion led to somebody's reading telling 5 point is Likert scale, and 7 or 9 or even 3, which is very few.
Yes, exactly few.
Are said to be Likert-like scale.
Okay, nice observation. That is why we're telling now that mostly 5-point scales are used. Any other scale, someone may use it, no problem. But in the text, that is why I have given the name of Likert. Likert has not given this 5 point. I will tell you, frankly. Likert has told that this is suggestive. Why he told, I will tell you. Earlier, suppose say, if the price of raw materials fall, farm should reduce the price of the product, right? We are giving the response, yes, no, right?
Sir.
Then Likert studied it and he found this yes, no this nominal scale doesn't reflect the true feeling of the respondent. Respondent wants to give, okay, I agree, not strongly agree. So that is why he's telling that when some attitude of the people, right? That is why it is in business scale. When it is to be measured, some social, parameters, it is always better not to restrict on yes, no, good, bad, right, wrong. It is not better. It is better to spread the opinion. That is the spreading of the opinion. That is the purpose of life card. Okay, please.
So, sir, when the point is 7 or 9, should we call it like scale or like a scale?
That is the example I have given you. That is the example I have given you. See,
Sir, it is
semantic
Likert scale
differences
only,
scale.
sir.
Yes.
It is Likert scale only, sir. But the thing is, many of the researchers, they are suggesting to go for a 7-point scale or 9-point scale.
Exactly.
Most of the researchers, they are using 7-point scale. I have seen studies, sir.
Okay. You are correct. You are correct. Let me tell you. See, this is the scale used to collect the feelings of a person. Clear? Now, feelings of a person, if I restrict it to 5 point, see, this is the 5 point, right? So here, strongly agree, not sure, neutral point, disagree, and strongly disagree. If you spread it, 7-point scale, right? So strongly agree, you can add another point in the left-hand side. Very, very strongly agreed. So more, very strong feeling, right? Similarly, in the lower side, in the other end, you can add another extreme. Possible. If you want to spread the opinion, if you want to give the people more scope to give their feelings. That is why you see before Likert we have used, see, this is the scale, continuous rating scale, 10-point scale. Same feeling, strongly agree, strongly disagree, but more option given to the respondent to express their feelings. Possible. It is possible. Okay. So both of you are correct. That is the beautiful part of research. Some one of you are telling, but our text, our literature says 5-point scales are mostly used in our country. Yes, other country 7-point scale they might have been preferring. That is why it is coming semantic. This or semantic differences scale. It is clearly mentioned by the author. It is a 7-point scale, right? We can use 7-point scale. Same thing you see, very bad to very good. Here maybe very bad, then bad, not so bad, neutral, 0. Like this, it can be possible. Okay, nice, very good, very good. That should be the class actually. Nice. So, okay, let us proceed a little further. We have discussed about the universe, population, and sample. So, I think it is clear to you, universe, population, and sample. Characteristics of good sampling. Sample was also discussed. We have discussed what should be the character of a good sample or good sampling technique. A sample must be unbiased, we have told. If we are using non-probability sampling, so the researchers should be very careful that it should not be tempted with biasness, and it should be representative of the entire population. We have also discussed about the different method of sampling. We have discussed all the methods. We have discussed different methods of probability and non-probability sampling also. If possible, that is the thing I told at the beginning. If possible, the researcher must try to use probability sampling, because this probability sampling is reducing the scope of biasness, limiting the errors, other advantages are there. But in case of requirement, when non-probability sampling is to be used, researcher must be unbiased at the time of selecting sample. They should be very careful. It is not biased and it is a representative one of the population. If these two things can be ensured, then we can say even with the non-probability sampling, the results are useful. Good results we can generate. Possible. Discussion was also made over the different scaling techniques. Just now we are seeing measurement scales, most common scaling techniques like nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio scales are discussed. Apart from this, some other useful scales we have seen, like a scale, non-symmetric scale, Q-sort, and all the scales we have discussed, which are mostly used in social science and business research. Okay. Hope from this discourse, a fair idea over sampling and scaling has been developed. Our deliberation will be fruitful if these are applied at the time of carrying out real life research. When you'll be using real life research, this is the purpose of FDP actually, that if very sample is correct, scaling is correct, then our analysis will definitely give better result to us. So this is all about our discussion. Any questions, anyone on any of the thing, you can please ask. Feel free to ask. You are totally free to ask any questions anywhere. If you find that this is difficult, not touching you, or if you find it is useful, it is wonderful, then only our hard work will be fruitful. Yes. Poonam, you can check any chat box. Is there any?
Sir, people like the participants are conveying their gratitude to you. They are conveying their pranam to you. They are liking. They have liked your presentation and deliberation.
I'm really thankful to all the participants that they like it. It is their greatness that they like it. It is really wonderful. But only my prayer will be, please use this in your real life research. This is only the urge. If this real life research is all right, then obviously our purpose will be fruitful. So Poonam, if there is no other question, can we call it a day?
Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening. Dipjuti, whether your expectation is fulfilled, organizer is always in tension,
Sir, I would like to ask you.
Yes, please.
Please ask your question.
Hello.
Ask the question.
Sir, I would like to ask the question.
Yes.
If my sample size is infinite, so
Yes.
so what sampling technique we should use?
Okay.
In that
See,
particular situation?
one of the feature of your study population is infinite, right? There may be other feature.
Right. So what sample size?
No. See. It is one feature,
Yes,
infinite. What is the other feature? Infinite is one of the characteristics of your population. Fine. Is there any other characteristics of your population?
So I'm not getting your point.
Okay. Let me tell you. Okay. In my body, how many drops of blood are there? Infinite? Yes?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In my body, in anyone's body, drops of blood are infinite. It is not common to everybody, isn't it? Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. But here, though it is infinite, we can take only one drop to get the characteristics. What is the sugar available? What is the blood cell available? One drop, because it is perfectly homogeneous. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Depending on your population, you have to select the method. Infinite is one character. There may be some other character. It may be heterogeneous, but possible to be stratified in homogeneous group. Then you will use the stratified random sampling technique. If it is also not possible to stratify, then you can go for area sampling, quota sampling, right? Or infinite population, but even not known to you, you can go for snowball technique. It depends on your research. Okay? Okay, all right.
Yes, sir.
Sound is not coming. I do not know whether you are having net problem or not.
Any more queries? Okay, sir. Thank you, sir, for giving us your precious time and discussing the topic and giving us so much new things to learn. I request Poonam to give the vote of thanks for the session.
Okay, so before vote of thanks comes, I thanks all the organizers to giving me the opportunity at least to come before you. A humble person like me is coming before you. It is my opportunity. So thanks to all of you. Okay, over to you, Poonam.
Thanks to you too, sir.
Thank you, sir, for giving us such a wonderful explanation of all the important topics of research. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Lots of thanks. So I express my gratitude to all of you, all the participants. Wish you a wonderful evening and the next session available. Thank you so much.
Sir,
thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, on
Thank
behalf
you,
of the
thank you.
participants, sir, I would like to thank you, sir. It was such a wonderful session. We learned a lot, sir. Lot of doubts were clarified, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
It is my
Sir,
pleasure.
can
It is my pleasure.
Sir,
I even thank the organizers, sir, because they have chosen such a good resource person who is really very interactive. Like many of the times we have attended many of the topics related to this, sir, sampling and all. But here, no, lot of our doubts, like now we are very clear. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Sir,
It is my
can I
pleasure.
5
Yes.
minutes more to convey my vote of thanks to you all?
Okay, no problem. I'm there. No problem.
So thank you is such a prayer that cannot be seen or touched, but it must be felt by heart. I feel honored and privileged to get the opportunity to propose a vote of thanks on this special occasion. I, Poonam Das, Session Coordinator of Day 2, Session 3 of 2-week Faculty Development Program on Research Methodology and Applied Econometrics for Social Science, convey my deep regards and hearty thanks to our honorable resource person, Prof.Amritlal Ghosh sir, for his outstanding deliberation on the important aspects of research. My special thanks to the convener, Dr. Dibjyoti Chaudhary sir, joint conveners, Dr. Shravanti Maiti ma'am, Dr. Taraknath Sahu sir, for organizing such an informative program. An event of this dimension cannot happen overnight. The wheels start rolling months in advance. We have been fortunate enough to be backed by the support of the Department of Business Administration, Assam University, Silchar, and organizing body of Vidyasagar University. I also extend my gratitude to all the back-end coordinators for their continuous help to conduct the program smoothly. I also take the opportunity to thank all the participants without whom the program wouldn't be possible to conduct. At the end, I can only say that if time is money, then today you have spent millions for us. Thanks to all of you for making this event successful. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Poonam. So let us call it a day.
Sir, some participants are asking if there is more questions, whether they can contact you for some clarifications.
Yes. That is why mail address is given. Mail address is given because research is a continuous process. It is bound to. Whenever they will do their practical thing, when they will be applying. Okay. As a researcher, we may have our contact. No problem. The email I have given, I can show you the email once again, or email is with the organizer, they can give you. No problem.
Sir,
in my slides also. Yes, please.
Like, sir, if you can write the PPTs for the participants, it might be helpful for them.
Yes, so we'll be really grateful if you can share.
Okay. No problem.
You can share it to me, sir. You can share it to me, like then I'll supply to them.
Already it is in the slides. I'm showing you. Or it is all in the slides already. I am showing you. That is my email. I think it is visible.
Yes, sir.
Please
Yeah.
take.
So they want the copy of the PowerPoint. If possible, you can give it to me, sir.
I can give, no problem. I can send you, you can share it.
Yeah, please, sir.
And I think you have a recording, no? You have a recording today. This recording, already everything is there, and everything is recorded. It will be in YouTube. Everyone will get it.
Yeah, surely.
Everyone will get it. No problem in it. Okay, thank you so much. Anything else?
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So participants, we are again meeting at 6:30 p.m. for the second session.
Okay, the same link, sir.
Yeah, same link. Same link will
Okay.
continue for this up till 17th of September.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you
sir.
so
Thank you,
much.
sir.